Really hope filming videos is like riding a bicycle. Because it has been a minute. Hey guys, it's Cece. I am here wearing my coziest cardigan to talk about where on earth I have been. I recognize that my video schedule in the past couple of years has been non-existent, and thank you all so much for putting up with the fact that I am a deeply erratic person, and I don't know if that's ever going to change about me. But I thought I would do a little video today, talk about some... Hey, Fury? Psst. Lady? As of right now, I have 2 cats and 1 dog on my bed, so I'll let you know at which points I have to remove which animals. I already had to remove 1 cat because Leah is a serial distractor and she will knock my tripod over. So yeah, I thought I'd talk to you about the books that I've been reading recently, the shows that I've been watching recently, and where I've been. I thought I'd just talk to y'all about it because I know that you appreciate honesty, and I think that up to this point on my channel, I have done my best to be as honest about my personal journey with mental health as possible, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about that as well. So yeah, let's jump into it. Let's talk about me. And it looks like we are going to be 1 cat down because Fury is requesting to leave. Real quick before I get into the meat of the video, where I've been, what I've been reading, what I've been watching, I wanted to let you all know that this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people like me and hopefully like you. And Skillshare classes have been helping me to create better, cooler content for all of you. And I really wanted to recommend a class that I think has been relevant to me these last couple of weeks. I've been more and more involved in Instagram, and I've been uploading some art there that I've been working on, which is an absolutely new thing for me. It is not something I have ever gotten into, but it means a transition into digital art, which is something I'm trying out recently. There's this class, An Introduction to Creating Digital Art by Brad Woodard, that I really want to recommend that you check out. It is a very clear and simple class to get you into the bare basics of digital art, and it has been incredibly helpful for me while I have been working on my little art Instagram projects. Skillshare Premium gets you unlimited access to all of the classes on the platform, and an annual membership works out to be less than $10 a month, so if you want to check that out, that's great. Also, the first 1,000 people who click the link in my description, they are going to get a free trial of Skillshare. It's an awesome platform where you can learn so much at your own pace. Please check it out, link in my description, and thank you so much again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So I guess the first thing that I need to talk about in regards to where I've been is the fact that I've been inside for a majority of the time, because I think most of us are inside a majority of the time. I work from home, I'm a freelancer. My roommate works from home, he's an assessment editor. So we're inside all the time. We leave to do grocery runs, and we're inside. And I think at the beginning of quarantine, I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna be so productive. And instead, this is not going to be the first time you've heard this, it's caused a dip in my productivity levels. I think that's something most of us are experiencing, and that's because we are consuming so much on a daily basis that we are overwhelmed constantly. From my therapist to you, COVID fatigue is real and is affecting pretty much everybody. So there's that. I have been getting way more into Instagram recently. I think I've mentioned it in a few vlogs that I have just been focusing a lot on photography, getting into digital art. I have been doing these book stacks on Instagram. They kind of look like this, and they weirdly got like a bunch of attention on Instagram, so I've been making a bunch of these, and that has been a way that I felt like I can still contribute to the book community without sitting down myself in front of a camera, which I have been having a very difficult time doing recently. It takes so little right now for me to get overwhelmed, and the problem is that I always run into this thing when I film where there are so many steps. And if you are a person who has had to deal with depression, anxiety, ADHD, anything that comes with executive dysfunction, and anything executive dysfunction is attached to, I think you'll understand that sometimes stuff has to be broken down into steps in order for me to accomplish those things, and most of the time, I only have the energy to accomplish one or maybe two of those steps on a day-to-day basis. And it's hard adjusting to the fact that that's where my productivity levels are at right now, that's where my mental health is at right now, and I need to kind of learn to accept it and move forward from that without punishing myself every day. Because I accomplished one step instead of accomplishing like 18. It's okay if you've just completed the one step. It's fine if you didn't even complete the one step. This is a scary time. We're all going through it, and I just wanted to stand here in front of a camera and say that I have been going through it too. It's been really hard. It's been really hard to film. And I am not going to promise that I'm going to be back regularly, because that is a thing I do to please people. I have to be like, all the time, I'm positive, positive, positive. I am going to be filming this many videos this week, and I'm going to get back into reading. I'm going to read 100 books. And it's just not realistic for me at this point in my life. It's realistic to say, hopefully I'll read a book. It's realistic to say, hopefully I'll put on makeup at some point this week. And every now and then, I have a moment where I can stand here and I can film. And I need you to know that those are the moments that I'm the happiest, because it takes a lot of mental energy to get in front of a camera. So when I'm having a down day, it becomes such an impossible task, and I hope that it can bring you, like, some level of comfort to know that usually when I'm standing here in front of a camera, it means that I'm doing pretty damn okay. So thank you for all your understanding about the weird upload times. Thank you for understanding huge breaks between uploads, and when sometimes a video project is so overwhelming to me that I just keep promising I'm going to do it while knowing that it's just going to keep weighing on me. So hopefully I will have some of my longer videos that I know you all love to you soon. I would love to get back to creating my anticipated releases videos, and hopefully that those are going to be coming back. I have my next 2 videos planned, and I just need to film them. I would also love to hear your input on what I should do in regards to hauls, because I haven't had a book haul since March, and things have piled up. Things have piled up. So I would love to hear what all of you would love me to do. Is that a live stream where I talk about all the books? Is it a haul video where I just show you a bunch of titles and only tell you the contents of a few that I'm the most excited for? I would love to hear your suggestions. I wish that I could be like Mayona for Mayona Reads, who can fit 90 books of a haul into a video under half an hour in length. I wish to God that I could be that efficient, but I can't. And I think at this point you all know that. We both know that I'm gonna make long videos because I don't know how to shut the fuck up, and that's okay. At least I think so. So I would love to hear some of your input on what I should do about the haul situation. And maybe I'll get back to filming those soon. Now that we've had a life update, let's talk about some books that I've read recently and some shows that I've watched recently. These aren't going to be like full in-depth reviews. I'm just going to let you know some thoughts. And if there are things that I want to cover more in depth, I'll do that in an official wrap-up or something. But I just wanted to let you know what's been going on in my life. Reading's been slow, but I do have some books that I've read. I'm not going to talk about Mexican Gothic yet because I am filming a vlog right now for Fortnite Frights where I will talk about that and maybe some other books. But let's talk about these. So I read about 3 books in September, and then I have 2 books to talk about that I read in October. I do have a Buzzwordathon vlog filmed in its entirety. I just need to edit it. And in that vlog, I'm going to be covering Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer, which is a Twilight book, which I know is uncommon to see on this channel, but I had to read this book for my childhood self. I had to read this book for the childhood self that was obsessed with these chapters when they got leaked online. Ultimately, I did not like this book. I do not think it was that well written, but it was kind of fun to revisit it. I think some people who love Twilight are going to get really into it, but ultimately, the main takeaway, the thing you need to know about this book, is that Edward does not know how to stop talking, and so it feels like this book takes so long to read. God, I wish Edward was no thoughts head empty, but he is many thoughts, head emo and full. Also, during Buzzwordathon, I read Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm actually gonna switch to holding books over here now. I think that's what I'm gonna do. This is a slasher novella by a native author, Stephen Graham Jones, who has been getting a ton of hype this year. I'm very psyched about it. I can't wait to read The Only Good Indians. This is a slasher novella with an unreliable narrator. It's weird, it's off the wall, and I really liked it. If you're looking for something eerie for this time of year, something that's gonna unsettle you a little bit, something that's off, if you like books that are weird, you should definitely check out Night of the Mannequins. I'm really glad I read it, and you will hear ratings and reviews in my Buzzwordathon vlog. And now I have 3 sapphic books to talk about, which always delights me. So first I want to talk about an ebook that I read. That would be Yellow Jessamine by Caitlin Starling. Caitlin Starling is the author of The Luminous Dead. The Luminous Dead, which is an absolutely brilliant horror sci-fi book with a queer girl protagonist. It's like atmospheric, it's creepy, it's fabulous. Yellow Jessamine was good, not amazing. It's got a very Victorian style, and it's about this crumbling city, the city that's falling into ruin, and one woman who knows it's falling into ruin, and she is no stranger to getting her hands dirty, and then some shit goes down. This is like a very atmospheric novella, but it doesn't deliver what I wanted it to. It didn't deliver what I wanted it to. It wasn't nearly as scary. It definitely had some atmosphere, but I think it got lost near the end. I think I was just so excited for this because The Luminous Dead is one of my favorite books of all time. So 3.5 stars out of 5 isn't a bad rating. It's what I gave this book. It's just not a great rating when I was expecting another 5. And then I have 2 books that absolutely lived up to the hype. The first of those, You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I actually finally read this book, and I absolutely loved it. It is a sapphic love story. It's about this girl named Liz who wants to leave her small town and go to college, and then she doesn't get the scholarship money she needs, so she decides to do the unthinkable and run for prom court, because whoever wins prom queen gets scholarship money. But Liz Lady has never seen herself as the prom queen, so it becomes a journey in a town that is obsessed with prom. And she maybe starts to fall for one of the other people who's running for prom court. Maybe? This has a black bisexual main character. It's adorable, delightful, romantic. It has so many great messages about love and tolerance and listening to your partner when they are the recipient of oppression that you are not and learning from it. I don't know, that was just a particular scene in this book that I loved and it vibed with me. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Loved it. And, in a surprise to no one, Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. 5 out of 5 stars. Incredible novel in verse that made me sob so much several times. If you need a good book to cry about, check out Elizabeth Acevedo. She's going to make you cry. This is about 2 sisters, half-sisters, who don't know that they are sisters, they don't know that the other exists, and then their father dies in a plane crash, and that is how the 2 of them discover one another. There is a established sapphic relationship for one of the 2 main characters, and this is about family and fallibility and sisterhood, and it's superb. I adore Elizabeth Acevedo. 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, surprising no one, because The Poet X was my favorite book the year that I read The Poet X. So Clap When You Land was going to be one of my favorite books this year. It had to be. I also wanted to tell you all a little bit about the shows that I've been watching, because I have been watching some recent shows that I have loved, and I think you should check them out. I recently watched The Haunting of Bly Manor. Superb. superb on a level I can't even tell you. Again, I don't think this is a surprise. The Haunting of Hill House has been one of my favorite shows since I watched it. I've rewatched it over and over again constantly. It's become my comfort show. So as soon as Bly Manor came out, we binged the whole thing. I sobbed through this, and it's going to become yet another favorite show and another comfort show. How much this talks about grief, compulsory heterosexuality, how we haunt ourselves, amazing. The greatest show, definitely scary. If you couldn't handle Hill House, don't know that I would recommend this one. It's definitely just as scary as Hill House, but I happen to love it. I like Hill House just a tiny bit more, but it's like Hill House is a 5 out of 5 stars, and Bly Manor is like a 4.98 out of 5. You know? That's where we're at on that. I also recently watched The Boys Season 2, which I think was a little stronger than Season 1, but maybe that's just me. I do think it is a show that has its issues. It's never going to be one of my favorite shows, but I like indulging in a bit of the dark edginess of The Boys. I know it's like grimdark edge extreme, but I like it. I like it as a team of people. I like Howie, one of the main characters. I like dark shows about superheroes. I like superheroes in general. Any kind of storytelling about superheroes always compels me, no matter what tone it sets. So, I personally liked The Boys. I know there are flaws with it, but I had a ton of fun binging Season 2. And there is a particular scene near the end that has a catharsis I can't even express to you. Brilliant. I also watched the final season of Schitt's Creek. Oh my god. I love this show so much. I don't know if I've ever talked about Schitt's Creek on my channel. I tweet about it, I talk about it on Instagram, but I adore Schitt's Creek, and the 6th and final season aired a little while ago. It is a great show about love and family and growth and love free of judgment. There are multiple queer main characters, and it's about family, and it's funny, and the first season is a little rough because you don't know what tone they're trying to set, but it's worth it. They pull it together, and when you go back and watch season 1, it will be better in retrospect now that you know those characters. I loved season 6. I thought it was a perfect and fitting conclusion to a show that has brought me so much joy. Very glad I watched it. And the last show in full that I want to talk about is Lovecraft Country, which we just barely finished watching as well, because the season finale just barely happened. This is a show. I haven't read the book this is based on or anything, but it is... I mean, it's definitely horror. It's got a ton of historical commentary and discussions of race within the civil rights era, putting that all into the context of an old white supremacist magical organization, and taking H.P. Lovecraft and reworking all of his racist, xenophobic trash into something that is a deeply inventive, emotional story. I live for it. I live for taking shit away from terrible fucking authors and making it into something that celebrates and creates and is new. It's what I loved about Watchmen so fucking much. Not the movie. The movie's fine, I guess. It's a little too grimdark in a way that I just can't even appreciate, but Watchmen, like the new show, I love it. I love it. I also just wanted to mention one show that I haven't finished watching in full yet, but I am watching it for the first time, and when I mentioned on Instagram I was watching it, a lot of people were interested, so I'm gonna put it out there for you. I'm currently in the process of watching Stargate SG-1. Is that what you thought I was going to say? Probably not. I've been consuming 90s and early aughts sci-fi for the past 2 years now in an obsessive manner. I've watched so much Star Trek. I can't even express to you how much Star Trek. But we've been watching Stargate SG-1, and it's been delightful. We're at the beginning of season 4, and I thought I would let you all know about it, because it's one of Brian's fave shows, and it's something that I watched with my poppy when I was a kid, part of the reason I've been getting into 90s sci-fi is as kind of a way to connect to my poppy. I lost him last year, it's been almost a year, and so I have just been watching a lot of Star Trek and Stargate because that's what I would watch sitting on his lap when I was a kid, and he would try to explain to me what was happening in this episode of Stargate, and it just makes me feel closer to him. So, it's been fun. I wanted to tell you all about it because I've been watching it, and I've been watching a lot of Star Trek. I think Next Gen remains my fave. The first one I ever watched. Next Gen remains my fave, and I really love Voyager. Deep Space Nine is pretty good. Okay, so I've talked to you about what I've been reading recently. I've talked to you about what I've been watching recently. As far as shows, I've also been watching a large number of very terrible, scary movies, because it is that time of year. Maybe eventually I'll do like a movie check-in. If that's something you all want, if you want me to go back to talking about the movies I've been watching recently, let me know. Maybe me and Brian can sit down and film a video for this channel and for our movie channel, which maybe I'll get back to editing at some point. But considering what I talked about at the beginning of this video with regard to how difficult it can be for me to just stand and film something, I'm not gonna put pressure on myself to jump back into editing for that channel just yet. Give it a minute. We still have most of a Good Place episode on the back burner that I'm working on. Thank you for your understanding. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I hope this has been an interesting video. I hope that it's nice to see me again. It's nice to talk to all of you again. I sure missed it. I have a bunch of vlogs that are on my plate right now that I would love to edit soon, and hopefully you will see those soon. Just tell me what you've all been up to. Tell me something that you have gotten into recently that brought you a little bit of happiness and a little bit of joy. Because most of the stuff I talked about in this video did, and I hope that I can spread some of that positivity on to you. Don't forget to check out the link in my description. Check out Skillshare. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video eventually. Bye!